The forehand returner serve. The forehand returner serve is normally taught in 4 stages, which is sometimes the setting up stage, the pivot, the contact point, the tracking, and the follow through. The returner serve is a great attacking weapon to have and to counter-attack somebody's awesome serve. If they serve and really try and get on top of the game, sometimes the best way to scare them in the beginning is to try and really get on top of that returner serve and counter-attack. It really deflates the ego of somebody who relies on their serve. If you're really struggling with your returner serve, what I really want you to do is don't change the direction, don't change the speed. Just send the ball back where it came from and try and keep it as deep as possible. Keep the people away from net. You'll notice with the returner serve, there is a funny footwork before they do a split step. This is a great way of getting your weight moving forward. And what normally happens is we have to find your dominant foot. Now your dominant foot is found by if you have 2 feet standing parallel to the baseline, you lean forward as far as you can go, and suddenly you have to stop yourself from falling and one of your feet shoot forward to catch your weight. That foot is your dominant foot. With my case, it is my right foot. So I'm right foot dominant. So my right foot stays behind my left foot. On the ready position, I have my racket out. And when my opponent is lifting up her arms or lifting up his arms to toss the ball, I would step forward, split step at the time that she's about to make contact, and my weight is going forward, and the split step will really help me decide which direction to go. On the first stage, which is the setting up stage, I really try and stay low. I bend my knees. I really watching the ball. My racket is looking above my racket. It's chin height. My racket is 45 degrees at an angle away from my body. I have staggered feet with my dominant foot behind me, and when the server tosses the ball, I step with my rear foot forward, and then I split step. Remember, a split step is a great way of waking up the body and making me decide which direction to go. This time it's going to be forehand. Look at the step forward with my dominant foot forward. I'm still looking intently forward. I have step with my right foot, and now I go into a split step. When I do a split step, I'm landing on the balls of my feet. I can move in any direction that I want to. Let's look at it again. Ready position. Racket out, chin height, my body is at an angle, I'm leaning forward, I'm very aggressively moving forward. I step, split step. You'll notice that I'm landing on the balls of my feet. The racket is still chin height. I can look over the top of the racket. I have full visual reference in front of me. There's no blur of the racket in front of my head. Here it's in context. As Joanne is tossing up the ball, step, split step, boom, back onto a backhand corner. I'm really trying to attack her serve, so I'm going deep on her backhand corner. Not much of a change of direction because I'm sending it back where she comes from. Stage 2, which is the pivot. The body pivots to the side, taking the shoulders, hips, and racket with it. The racket is at 45 degrees to the back fence, so I turn my shoulders and I pivot, but I don't pivot all the way back as a normal ground stroke, but I just pivot 45 degrees for a short, compact swing. And the last one is I make sure that I have a short compact swing and I try and track the ball. Remember, I'm trying to get the racket below the ball and behind the ball. I really want to get the racket in alignment with the ball. I don't want too many variables. I don't want to have a big swing. I need to get set. Almost kind of like, have you seen in those fighter playing movies where you lock in on your target before you press the missile? Well, the same thing. You got to lock in onto the serve, and you got to lock in onto that ball. So lock your eyes, lock the whole body into the ball so you can sink, get the racket behind the ball, get the racket below the ball so you can brush up through the returner serve. Here it's in context. Split step, pivot, boom. And again, I step, split step, and you'll notice my shoulder turn. I really pivot to the side. Stage 3, which is the contact. Contact, I have a firm U-shaped wrist. My head is still, I'm not moving my head. The racket head is above the wrist. The racket is in front and away from the body, and my eyes are always on the contact point. And I notice I always have grip number 3, which is a very versatile grip number 3 grip to have on the forehand. Notice that my weight is going forward. Notice that the contact point is out in front. Notice that my head is still above the ball. Notice my left hand is still in front of my body, on that side of my body. I'm moving forward. Sometimes I have an open stance if it's really pushed out wide, but I still want my weight to come forward. Split step, pivot, move to the side. Rack it up, ready position, look at the angle. I step, split step, pivot, and look at that contact way out in front of me. Tracking and follow through. Tracking and follow through, I have once again a U-shaped wrist for as long as possible. Remember, the wrist leads the swing forward. My head is still, my racket face is still facing the target area as long as possible, in case I have bad timing. I have a hand-to-hand catch where the two hands meet each other at the end of the swing, and my weight is going forward through my follow through. I do hand-to-hand because if my left hand really pulls across to the side, my swing goes a little bit into a circular motion and pulling off the target area. I need my swing to follow my target area as long as possible, because remember, the court is 3 times longer than it's wide. Look at the follow through, look at the racket, it's tracking the ball as long as possible. I need a little bit of topspin sometimes to keep that ball in. Look at how I'm split stepping, I'm getting the racket below the ball. I'm not getting as much as 12 or 13 inches below the ball, I'm just getting a little bit below the ball because sometimes I just want to tabletop it back. Forehand return of serve is a great weapon to have.